Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request from Mr. Anonymous because the person did not want me to say their name, which I have no issues with, as long as you let me know beforehand. Because when you send PayPal requests, you could send a note. If you don't want to be mentioned, that's perfectly fine. I have no issues with it. So, and again, if anyone wants to request any type of videos, topics, commentaries, tier lists, rankings, video game playthroughs, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, whatever the case, feel free to send it. PayPal is the best way to do it. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to it as soon as I can. Now this is The Dragon Lives Again from 1977. I know I stuttered my words there because this film is pretty insane. I kind of enjoy it for that. And I did have fun with this movie. While there are some parts, there's a lot of parts that feel as if we jumped to another scene and like we missed some crucial information of like how did we get there? So it feels like there's stuff missing or something. But it is the craziest Bruceploitation film I've ever seen in my life. Easily the craziest. It would probably be in my top 5 Bruceploitation films. Now before we go on to the movie, I should mention this was courtesy of watching it on this, the Game of Clones box set, Volume 1. I do look forward to Volume 2 whenever that will be the case. I don't know when that will be. Now, there's a lot of good releases this year. There's the Blair Witch Project, there's The Hitcher, but hopefully this doesn't get slept on, because this would definitely be one of the best releases of 2024. With how much you get, you have a booklet, here's the booklet there. Very colorful, a lot of posters, a lot of info. You also have a huge number of movies, from the Enter the Clones of Bruce Lee documentary, which is a very fun documentary, to the Clones of Bruce Lee, Enter Three Dragons, Enter the Game of Death, my favorite, Goodbye Bruce Lee. A lot of these I still haven't seen yet, I just haven't had time. But yeah, the Clones of Bruce Lee was fun for what it was. Enter the Game of Death's my favorite. Of course, The Dragon Lives Again, which is the one we're talking about, which has commentary. I didn't get a chance to listen to the commentary. I just didn't have time. I would like to. Yeah, Bruce and the Iron Finger. Challenge of the Tiger I did review. I had fun with that. There's The Dragon Lives, Super Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, The Dragon the Hero, Rage of Dragon. And you did have a bonus disc as well, including the Big Boss 2. Again, very curious to see what they'll do with a Volume 2. Now, before I start, he did mention, hey, go ahead and pick out a Bruceploitation film. And actually, he mentioned he was curious to hear about this movie, and also how it looks, the picture quality. So I'll start with that before I get into the actual film. He was worried, oh, is this just a VHS? No, not at all. If you're worried that it's just a VHS copy put on there, not in the slightest. This is the best the film will ever look. That's for a lot of these movies, because they're from 35mm or other material. And yes, you will see a lot of scratches. To me, that kind of fits because it belongs to that grindhouse era where a lot of these films first saw the light of day. So like you would see it with the scratches and stuff. So if you hate scratches, if you don't like that at all, maybe it would annoy you. Again, to me, I find it a bit endearing. But it's widescreen. It's cleaned up, the picture. They cleaned up as best as they could. And I really like the look of it. Because I had seen this film before on a crappy VHS copy where it looked like full screen. And it felt like there was stuff missing on the side, especially in fight scenes. where because it was like pushed in, like some fights are happening, but you tell some stuff is missing. And it's like, here, no, it's properly widescreen. You see everything. It's cleaned up. It's not fuzzy. It's not hard to see. It's the best you'll see the film look. I'll put it that way. So it was great to see the film again, looking at a proper, ideal format. So it didn't look like ass. Like the movie doesn't look like ass. Doesn't look like shit. So they definitely cleaned it up as best as they could, which that's the appeal of one of the appeals of this set was to see these films. And again, some of them I still haven't seen. I just haven't had time, but to see some of these, like Enter the Game of Death and stuff, in there as best as they could, cleaned up as best as they could, that was definitely a great bonus. And this is, again, the only copies you could find online was these really crappy VHS. So I appreciate how well they cleaned it up. Now the movie itself, so the soul of Bruce Lee is in the underworld, and it's played by Bruce Leon. Which, I mean, I would say I like Bruce Lee with L-E, or Bruce Lee, L-I. I like them better. This guy, I don't his face doesn't really look like Bruce Lee, but he's pretty good martial artist. His moves are swift and impactful. He's very good at the kicks and fast punches. Give him credit where credit's due. Now the movie is very much tongue-in-cheek. You could tell. I mean, there's an early joke where he's like this, and it looks like he's got an erection. And like, oh no. And the underworld and the kingdom of the world, they're kind of looking at who is this guy. And one of his henchmen kind of goes and pulls out his nunchucks. That's what it was, his nunchucks. Even before that, the very beginning, where it shows kind of like the cast, it's this red backdrop, which they did a lot in these old kung fu movies, where you have a red backdrop, and then you have, in this case, Bruce Imitator fighting people, doing some martial arts while the credits go, and usually they're playing the Enter the Dragon theme. Dun dun, bum 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 dun, bum bum bum. That's usually the theme that's playing in these. And you're seeing, okay, he's going up against Dracula, the Skeleton Army. There's James Bond. You hear a bit of the James Bond music. There's the Man with No Name, which they call Clint Eastwood. And they play a little bit of the Man with No Name theme. And Bruce, during the opening, does this stuff to make the guy burn up his poncho. And he's kicking all kinds of ass, using nunchucks. The beginning alone is worth the price of purchase. Is worth watching just for that. So again, he's in the underworld. There's even, for 30 seconds, you hear the opening of the song Kung Fu Fighting. Whoa ho ho ho, whoa ho ho ho. As this eruption joke happens, which happens to be nunchucks. And it's also funny, he wakes up with sunglasses on. So, does Bruce needs his sunglasses? He's giving back his weapon, and he's going around this town. I guess it's the underworld. Now, in this underworld, there's allies he meets. There's Kane from Kung Fu, the TV show. There's the one-armed swordsman. And Popeye. Yes, Popeye is in this fucking movie. Popeye. I wish he was in it more, but Popeye's in this movie. And the bad guys, the bosses are The Godfather, The Exorcist, Emmanuel, Later on, you see Dracula. I kind of wish Dracula was in it more. He's not in it as much as you would think. The Man with No Name, which they call Clint Eastwood. I'm like, Clint Eastwood ain't dead, guys. You know, shit. Even now, thankfully he's not dead yet. But so it was weird that they call him Clint Eastwood. They could have just said the Man with No Name or the Man, or but they literally call, at least in the English dub, because that's another thing. They do not have the original with these films. They do not have the original language. There's just no way to get that. So it is the English dubs. Now they may turn some people off. To me, this is how I saw these type of movies. I've told the story before. The first one I saw was Bruce the Superhero. And as a kid, I thought that was Bruce Lee because we didn't have any of the actual Bruce Lee films around where I lived at. So for the longest time, I thought Bruce Lee, L.E., was the actual Bruce Lee. Until years later, like I was educated. It's like, no. That's part of Bruceploitation. I'm like, what's Bruceploitation? Well, when Bruce Lee died, where maybe that rooster out there killed him. Says there's all these theories of what else killed Bruce. Might as well add maybe a random rooster killed him. People were now willing and wanting to deal with his death. It's like, no, we wanted more. We wanted more from Bruce. So in a weird, vicarious fashion, to live through that, the movies that Bruce never got to make. So Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee, Bruce Leon, Lee Bruce, Dragon Lee. All these people came out of the woodwork. And again, there is a documentary, a very interesting one, that goes to how it all came about. And these films were obviously successful because they kept making them. But of course, eventually it died out by the time we got into kind of the mid-80s. Maybe even before that. And they're not looked on with any sort of fondness. Respect, I should say. Now, there's fans like me who I get a kick out of the genre. It doesn't mean every one of them's good, but did a kick out of it. But, you know, it's not really respectable subgenre. But it's very fascinating to me. Very fascinating, the whole deal. And then you get crazy stuff like this, where... And yes, for me to say this is a crazy... I mean, there was a film called The Clones of Bruce Lee, where literally, like, multiple clones of Bruce. And this is still crazier than that. Just for the characters. And there's fun bits where... There's a bit where he's at a restaurant and... Zatoichi, the blind figure of Chinese... There's a bunch of films made of him and stuff, of that character. Throws sticks at Bruce, and Bruce blocks it and goes, "You son of a bitch." And this is where you get to see, like, a fight scene happens in this restaurant, and he's fighting these henchmen. Thank God that with this, it's widescreen, you can see the full fight, you can see him doing all these cool punches and kicks. Very fluent in martial arts. But I guess he got overworked, and then he got beat up a bit and lost the fight. He kicks a lot of ass, and all of a sudden, he gets tired, I guess, and defeated. But this is where the movie kind of just jumps around wherever the hell it wants to go. Where then Bruce wants to stop gambling, and okay, I'll play dominoes, I won, but stop playing. And he's playing with the one-armed... a swordsman, and then they have a fight and defeat some bad guys. But then, like, these women, and one of them is the queen. Every woman has a hard-on for Bruce. They always want to get in his pants. They want to fuck him. They're always horny. Although, always talking about how well-endowed he is. So I will say that in a way, this is like a big fan service for Bruce. Like, Bruce is so great that every woman wants to fuck him, thinks he got a big dick. He tits everybody in the underworld's ass. He's titting Dracula's ass. He's titting... I'm surprised, King Kong wasn't in it. He ticked King Kong's ass. Godzilla was in it. He ticked Godzilla's ass. part of me is like, let's remake the film, and let's remake this film and put everybody. Let's put Freddy Krueger, Jason. That's what I would do. I would remake this. Okay, when someone asks me what's a film I want remade, this film. I want someone like Jason Scott Lee. He would never say yes to it, but just someone like him, someone who could pretend to be Bruce Lee, and have him fight Freddy Krueger and Dracula and the Mummy and Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Leprechaun and Chucky and Godzilla, and hell, have him fight Richard Nixon and fucking I don't know, anybody you could think of, man. Fight Barney the dinosaur, fight Mickey Mouse, fight everybody, you know. Fight Winnie the Pooh, since he's public domain. Fight everybody. That's what I would do. Kick everybody's ass. Now, this section where the women want to screw him, well, to be fair, we're not there yet. Because there are times this movie almost feels like a porno. Because there's a lot of nudity in this movie. Which I appreciate. But there's a lot of nudity. Because, like, the women are sunbathing, their titties are out, they're talking about how they want to screw Bruce. And, sorry, Tat, no, you can't screw Bruce. Bruce did not want any, well, he wants pussy, but not that kind of pussy. Sorry, Tat. Wrong kind of pussy. But it's one of those things where there's a decent amount of action. He fights the blind guys at Tuichi, and as they're fighting, they're doing all these moves. Like, you know how a lot of times in old kung fu, you know, flying fists or tiger blah 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 or the cobra, they'll announce it and then they'll do their moves. Well, Bruce starts doing it, but they're based on his movies. So, Enter the Dragon, you know, Game of Death. And one weird part, the blind man, apparently one of his moves is pissing dog. Where he gets, and he's kind of moving his leg back. Like he's on the ground like this. But he's got his leg up that way, trying to kick him. While going backwards. I'm like, credit to doing that physically. But it's kind of funny how, you know, Bruce is now doing the big boss. I'm like, okay. And for a guy who loves nunchucks, that loves the usage of nunchucks, this definitely satisfied my taste in that, because the beginning and in this scene and stuff at the end, he uses nunchucks and kicks some ass. I tell you, I love that weapon. I love when it's used. It's not used nearly enough in movies. It was used in John Wick 4, but that wasn't enough to save that film. So he defeats Satuichi. Emmanuel tries to seduce him because apparently her seduction, that she screws you hard enough to make your heart explode. Granted, you're already dead, so you don't get more deader than dead, but yeah, I don't know how this place works. And like the bad guy started watching, and Bruce notices, and then turns and goes, "Get out, you bitch!" It's like maybe the bad guy shouldn't have been watching to, you know, give a bit of the, give it away that, hey, maybe this is not on the up and up. Maybe there's something weird going on. And this is a very, very cheap movie. There's probably three locations this movie has. There's the inside, like mainly the teens' quarters. There's outside in the town, which you could tell is a set because the background is that same red that's in the opening credits, that red wallpaper, however you want to put it in the background. And then there's like rock quarry. And there'll be times where they're in the town, then they move, and then they're in the rock quarry. That's right next to the town. Like, they're right in the town, and whew. And that's what I mean. Like, it goes all over the place, and trust me, you're not going to this for story. the plot's all over the place, but that's part of the fun of it. There's a section where the queen pretends to be this one lady and tries to seduce Bruce, and that goes on for a bit long. And granted, it's kind of funny how again every woman just wants to hump Bruce, but that a bit tedious at times. But it's like, oh, now Dracula's gonna fight him, and sadly, Dracula doesn't get to fight him a whole lot. I guess I'm getting the spoilers. Sorry, spoilers. But his skeleton henchmen do. People in these skeleton suits. And also, Bruce, for some reason, is in a Kato outfit. Why is he in a Kato outfit in this scene and he never uses that before or since? I don't know. There's no proper bit where, oh, here's this outfit I have for you. Oh, I remember this. This is when I did the Green Hornet. There's none of that, like, in between. It's just, all of a sudden he has a Kato outfit on. Why? I don't fucking know. Just because Bruce had a Kato outfit. That's why. And then fights these skeleton henchmen that won't stay down. That's one of the things is that when they TD him back up, it makes it seem like Bruce's fighting is less effective. As Johnny Cage would say, this is where you stay down. And it's like, stay down. Like, to make it, not seem as pointless. But yeah, the fight he did really ridiculous at times. And they all, like, jump on him. And the insanity. Dracula comes towards him, and apparently Bruce has the mythical third leg. Between his legs, a third leg pops up and hits Dracula in the face. There you go. And then, sadly, we didn't get like a Dracula versus Bruce Lee fight. I think that was a missed opportunity. He just hits him in the face, goes up, and finishes the job. It's like, come on, you gotta have a fight between Bruce and Dracula. Come on. I think that was a missed opportunity. They should have had that in there. And then, like, some of the people he does kill pretty easily, like James Bond and the Clint Eastwood. He takes out pretty quickly. And then you have a 2-on-1 fight where he fights the Exorcist and the Godfather. One guy he hits like 8 consecutive times. And then does the Fingers of Fury to the... I'm not going to get in details of the fights. The fights, they're fun to watch. Again, Bruce Leon definitely knows his way with martial arts. But then realizes the teen is an awful guy, goes after him, and then he has an army of mummies. And then there's a guy named Zhang Kui, who I guess was a Chinese folk hero, who's working with the teen and the mummies, and they're fighting Bruce, and Bruce is kicking ass. And totally like the mummies get in this like synchronized fighting where they like go around, ring around the fucking Rosie, or they're all standing in a row, and Bruce has to fight back and forth. And he's holding his own, and then the one-armed swordsman pop by, and fucking Kane come in, and they do their bit of business. Yes, you do have the Popeye theme. There is a can of spinach, and he's like punching them all, and he's like punching one, and the guy flies over him. Oh, everything's hunky-dory. They kick everybody's ass. Bruce Lee just uses nunchucks, which was satisfying. Bruce warns the teen, you better be a good teen. I'll come back here and kick your ass. And then I guess Bruce, he gets to go back to Earth. So you see Bruce flying away to go back to Earth. Now, granted, I don't know how that explains, like, where did Bruce go if he went back to Earth? Or is the idea he went back to Earth, then he died sometime later? I don't know. Maybe he got frozen until the economy gets better. But this is, like I said, the plot kind of just goes all over the place. You're not going to follow the plot. The part when the Queen's trying to seduce Bruce, it slows down a bit. I do wish, like the fight with Dracula, there was an actual fight. But it's just so crazy, so weird, so insane, so many different characters, so bits to unintentionally funny. It's just a wild ride. I definitely need to listen to this commentary sometime to see their thoughts on like what was. I need to learn about the making of this film, so I definitely sometime before the end of the month I gotta listen to this commentary sometime. I just again have a lot of stuff to get to, so I didn't have time for that. But if you like insane movies, if you like martial arts films, if you like Bruceploitation films, definitely look this up. And again, 7 films did a great job with this. You got a great documentary, you got a ton of movies. Again, I do look forward to part 2. I don't know. I know they're working on it, but I don't know when. I don't know what movies will be on it. I mean, I hope Soul Brothers of Kung Fu. Bruce the Superhero would be nice, but that's a nostalgic favorite. I don't know. I don't know how many movies there'd be. I don't know if there'd be a documentary either, because maybe a documentary on Bruce Lee himself, L.E., because I know he's been, of all the guys, he's the one who loves this stuff the most, and a documentary on him would be pretty cool. Just who knows. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And this is definitely worth the watch. And to Mr. Anonymous, again, no, this is not. You don't have the Chinese original language. It is the English dub for pretty much all of these. That's all they could find. I did for me. That's fine. That part of the charm. But they're the best that they can ever look. And I do appreciate that. So definitely worth it. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.